I find this an interesting way that you framed it, probably because I wasn't raised in an environment where conflict was presented as safe. I was raised by a single mom, so conflict in general didn't really exist in the sense that my mom she was right.
Same.
Right? So I was raised in that way. But what does that even look like? That conflict is presented in a safe way. What would that look like within a family unit or a relationship?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm just now discovering that I'm 38 at this point, and in my most current relationship, it's really been just questioning the way that I show up somatically in conflict. Like I said a minute ago, the way that I kind of dissociate. I've got this way of shutting down, kind of in my head. I tend to be much more avoidant if we're talking like attachment styles, and so I know that I go to a place very quickly of like, oh, screw this, screw him, this isn't going to work, I got to get out of here, this is pointless. Like I go into this mental spiral that actually really takes me out of being in the present, of being in that uncomfortable situation, right? It's not in a movie where I can just like scroll Instagram and to kind of relieve that anxiety valve. So what do I do to relieve it? I use my mind to relieve it, right? But what I'm learning now through a relationship where I do actually feel safe enough to have conflict, it's not perfect, but is you do need to have, whether it be a partner or family, whatever we're talking about, who's able to give you a safe space, a space that is safe enough to be able to come to them, share what's going on for you, share what's on your mind without fear of retaliation, without fear of, cold shoulder for a lot of us as kids growing up, which the cold shoulder really just is a way to tell us that the love gets taken away if you don't do and say what I want you to do, or if you do anything that hurts me or ruffles my feathers in any way. And really cold shoulder from a parent is just the parent's way of saying they don't know how to handle conflict either. That's just a complete, behavioral indication of that. So if you're looking for safety, it's really about establishing that safe container, that safe space. So I'm going to provide my partner, or they're going to provide me with the knowledge that I can come to them with anything without risk or fear of retaliation, right? I'm going to do my best to manage my defenses, manage myself getting, flustered or wanting to jump in and defend myself, which is normal for most human beings. And also that's your job to manage, and your responsibility if you want to have a safe partnership or relationship in general, to manage, right? It's not your partner's job to manage your emotions, which for a lot of us growing up, that was our job. So we bring that into our relationships, right? So these are just some of the techniques and I shouldn't say techniques, I would say skills. I mean, a lot of this is just really building skills and practicing skills that I've been able to practice in my relationship now, which has kind of transformed the way that I show up in conflict, and the way that I'm attempting to show up in conflict with my daughter, because she's 2.5 now. And so she just wants conflict all the time. It's like she follows me from room to room, just begging for it. So I have lots of practice.